You know, I had mine done 20 years ago where people are like, you know, clearly criminal, you know, because that's how people used to look at you when you're, you know, heavily tattooed. You know, people look at you like you're a thug. I would say another 5-10 years time, again, we may push through another barrier and it may get a bit better.
My name's B. Phillips. I'm now a tattooist in the UK, and I became a tattoo model about 5 or so years ago.
I'm Levi Phillips, known as Levi 76, also UK based, been a tattooist for about 15 years. Husband and wife. I had a pretty normal childhood, wasn't around tattoos at all, really. I had one uncle that was a biker. Again, he didn't really have any tattoos. Yeah, it was a very sort of normal childhood. I didn't discover tattoos, etc., till I was probably just turning 20.
Also pretty simple, pretty straightforward. No tattoos in the family that I really know of. I really fell in love with tattooing when I met Levi.
First tattoo I got was actually, unfortunately, was when the tribal phase came about, which I've since had lasered back. Not because I dislike it, but basically because tattoos are far better now. Being an artist myself, I'd rather use the skin for something better.
My first tattoo, nothing very exciting. I thought I wanted something to represent my family, and I got a small tattoo on my right foot of 3 star signs and like a little bow around my ankle, and I'll be honest, it hurt. It was, yeah, I've only got one foot done to this day because I'm not brave enough to do the other one. It was sore, but again, it was just like a little, I've covered it since now, but it was just like a little, yeah, little family tattoo.
I actually didn't get any blowback at all. You know, my mother, etc. I grew up with my mum and didn't really have any other family around me. She had no issue with me at all because she was very accepting of basically anything I did growing up.
Whereas blowback in the family, mine's the opposite, I would say. So my mum absolutely hated tattoos. She used to say that I was painting my body and why was I doing it? For a long, long time. It was a long time, wasn't it? It was quite a few years. But I didn't start getting seriously tattooed until 23, 24 probably.
Yeah.
And that's when she was like, you know, the standard, you're ruining your body, what are you gonna look like when you're older?
I'm the devil.
You're the devil and why are you doing this to me and all of that. And she did come around eventually and actually asked for a tattoo herself. And I did say to her that you'll never ever be able to say anything about any of my tattoos. You know, I didn't have my neck done or anything at the time. I said if I get any more covered, you'll have to accept it, and it, you know. And she was like, yeah, I sort of understand now that it's a bit more than just stuff. Like it is artistic and it is, you know, beautiful as well.
I had zero plan whatsoever. It was a case of, yeah, I really like this. I really like this tribal sort of style. I'm going to get a tribal piece. Then it was, I really like Japanese style. I'm going to get a Japanese piece. I'm just sort of mishmashed together. If I could go back, I would plan out a bodysuit and set about it.
To start with, nothing was really planned. I think I started getting small pieces on my right leg, and obviously being with a tattooist was really easy to get tattooed. And then I think the first sort of plan that we did have was when I had a lot of gap filler left on this leg, and because my name's B, we decided to fill it in. It was actually Levi's idea to fill it all with honeycomb. So it started right at the bottom of the leg and it actually ran all the way across. So that was the plan, was then to basically have that as background for everywhere, yeah. The second leg was a little more planned, even though I had a piece already on the front, but we did plan a little more on what pieces we were going to do. And again, being with a realism artist, it was always going to be realistic, you know, women's faces and stuff like that, 'cause I loved it. And then my back was definitely planned as one big panel, which is one of my favourites because you can see it from anywhere. So it's just one big piece.
Yeah, that was mapped out from
Yes.
from the top of your shoulders right to sort of into her ass crack. So then we came down and filled all of that in, and then again I mapped out your arm.
Yeah.
Again, the honeycomb runs throughout. It's in every part.
And then the neck was planned for sure for quite some time because I wanted to be sure that I wanted to get it done. It wasn't really something you could hide, and
I held you back on that for a bit, didn't I?
For a long time, yeah. Didn't want to rush into it just because of where it is. The same with any face tattoos.
It wasn't because I didn't want to get a neck done. It was because my whole neck was already done, and I kept trying to explain to her that you can be covered in tattoos, but when you tattoo your neck, life changes. People look at you very, very different. It's not the same. And then we did it, and actually on our way home, we stopped at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And for the first time, she experienced what it's like.
I noticed people looking different instantly. It was just, I don't know if it's where we live, that it's just quite a small little town and people are just a bit close-minded, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely strange. But then we went to like another convention and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Everybody's like it and you fit right in.
And nobody
so,
looks,
yeah.
you know, unless you've got something really different, nobody really looks at anybody, you know, unless they spot a piece of art on somebody that you're like, yeah, that's good. You know, everybody looks the same. So, you know, covered in ink.
For a minute, it was a bit like, oh, this is a bit strange, and you know, people are looking at me like I've done something wrong, and then it's like, yeah, it is what it is, and it makes me happy, and that's all that matters.
Well, that's what tattoos are about. It was always kind of set once B wanted her throat done that I was going to do the negative to what I have. So she has the polar opposite to mine. So some people notice it, some people don't. It's a matching tattoo that's not a matching tattoo. B's neck's been copied. I cannot tell you how many times. People send her photographs all the time of their neck done with her tattoo. You know, and I know, you know, there's plenty of people that have copied it, you know, etc., etc. It's a honeycomb pattern. Nobody owns it. You know, it's a geometric pattern that, you know, thousands of people have on them. It just so happens that, you know, she's been on the cover of plenty of magazines and is known for her neck. Where, you know, certain people are known for a specific tattoo. They're linked to that tattoo. You know, B's covered in tattoos and she's got an amazing back piece that's one of a kind, but I guarantee you, everybody remembers her neck.
No, I don't like it, to answer that question short. I don't, you know, I feel really attached to it, and I feel like it's just my piece. And, you know, like Levi said, it's just the geometric pattern. I mean, there's hundreds of geometric patterns that people could get done, and they have done on their necks or their throats.
Yeah.
But I just think, yeah, people just love it because it's something different. So, you know, can't blame them.
So the head is only really full on to people when I shave my head, which I normally do in the summer. As soon as you've got a bit of hair, it's a lot less noticeable. Once you shave it right down and you can see actually your whole head's tattooed, then people, again, they give you that sort of look. Some people are looking because they're like, yeah, that shit's got to hurt. And some people are looking probably because they still think you're a criminal. Either way, you know, I don't really care. I tattooed my head because at the end of the day, you know, somewhere down the line I won't have any hair. Yeah, I'd probably take off quite a few tattoos, but you can't. Well, you can, but it's a ball ache. You know, the tribal, the only reason I'm removing the tribal is because I do realism. I just think you're sat there putting realism on people. You're sat there, you know, great big tribal piece that just could be something better.
I don't regret anything, no. We were actually talking about this today, weren't we? And I said if I could do it all again and basically skin myself and redo everything, that I would plan things a bit more and do bigger panels rather than just pieces and joining stuff together. I would like to do big panels, so like a whole leg of one picture that wraps round and makes a picture a bit like my back.
More like your back, yeah.
Other than that, no, I literally love everything, and it's all also there's, you know, a lot of little bits that mean things to me. Doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but it's personal to me, and there's little bits all around. That's, yeah, I love them, love it all.